What's up everyone, Max Tech Toy Box here doing a unboxing and review of the Moto G7. Amazon and Motorola had a deal on this for Memorial Day weekend. I got it for I think $229.99. So I've been waiting to get my hands on this. I was waiting, if I should bite the bullet or try it out or not. And once they announced it at this price for that sale, I figured I'd go ahead and give it a try. Especially since I did that review on the Google Pixel 3a. That's sort of the junior flagship market. So that was at about $479. So this is a little bit over half the price, but interesting to see exactly how good this device will be in comparison to something like the Google Pixel 3a, and something that's a bit more budget friendly instead of always reviewing $1,000 phones. So as you guys can see, this is relatively large phone because I have pretty large hands. Side here you have your power button and your volume rocker. You have your rear facing camera module. I think this is the fingerprint scanner there, and nothing on this side. Up top, I believe this is the micro SD card slot along with the SIM. So on the bottom here you see USB Type-C, which is good, and a bottom firing speaker along with the disappearing 3.5mm headphone jack. Not all phones have these. I believe this is going to have stereo speakers. Going to be some coming from here and then from that bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put this through its paces, and I'll let you guys know how I feel about it. What's up guys? So I've been using the Moto G7 for some time, and I'm ready to give you guys my final thoughts on the device. So really quickly, I'm going to go over some of the specs. So as you guys know, this is running Android 9.0, Android Pie. This does have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 632 processor, 4GB of RAM, 64GB of onboard storage, with the ability to expand with a micro SD card. On the back you do have the fingerprint scanner along with face unlock, 15-watt turbo charging, which is good, 3000 milliamp hour battery, non-removable of course, USB Type-C, 3.5mm headphone jack on the bottom here. My camera will autofocus. It's there, believe me. No stereo speakers, only one bottom facing speaker. So yeah, so that's pretty much all of the specs that are important. 1080p LCD panel, 6.2 inch display, 403 pixels per inch for anybody that wants to know that, and it has Corning Gorilla Glass 3. So that's a couple of generations behind because I think we're on Gorilla Glass 5 right now. So really quickly, I'm going to talk about the things that I did not like about the device, and the most glaring thing that I did not like about this device was how slippery it is to hold. Especially if you're rocking this naked like I did, because I wanted to get a really good feel for the device in general. And it really does look good. It looks like a premium device, and so because of that, I wanted to rock it naked. But also because of that, it is extremely slippery. Thankfully, I didn't drop this, but throwing a case or a deep brand skin on there will definitely help with that. The other thing that I did not like about this device was the LCD panel. I'm just not a fan of LCD panels. AMOLED is better. And for things like the always on display, what happens is, like when you tilt awake or whatever, the entire screen lights up because it's an LCD panel, it's not AMOLED. So, and I mean, it's weird because Motorola really pioneered this always on display. So I would think, I know that the AMOLED panels are a little bit more expensive, but I would think that that would have been sort of, an LCD panel would have been a non-starter for them, but it is what it is. They have featured the LCD panel on all of their Moto G phones up to this date, so I'm not super surprised, but just throwing it out there. Also, I expected better battery life. The battery life wasn't bad, but after using the Google Pixel 3a XL and how good that lasted, especially with just bone stock Android, I thought that this would be very similar, but it wasn't. And I think that actually has to do with that AMOLED panel. I think that drew a little bit more, but also even overnight, the battery, like I said in my review with the Google Pixel 3a XL, overnight, like 8 hours was like a 2% battery drain. With this, it was more like in the close to 10%. So not bad, but again, it just, it'll definitely last you all day. No qualms there. So no stereo speakers, didn't like that. No IP rating. They said on their website it has a water repellent design with P2I nano coating, whatever that means, but no official IP rating. No wireless charging. This has a glass back, so I mean they could have easily added wireless charging. I know these manufacturers say, oh, you know, we don't do these things because it adds so much cost to the device, but anybody that's been following Android or wireless charging in general, you know that they've had these little Qi receivers that you can put onto these devices that plug in, and they lay on the back of your device, and then you just put a case on it, and that adds wireless charging, and those devices go for like $10. So obviously we know that the markups on those are pretty high and that they're making a lot of money. So if you build that inside the device, you're probably adding $2 onto the device. $2 is not a big deal. So I'm tired of manufacturers using that for an excuse. You can add that to a device and still make it cost effective. I mean, even look at the Nexus 4 from years ago that had that built in, and that device was still $299. So also the other thing that I didn't like is there was some sluggish, like some lag when using the device. I think that has to do with the Qualcomm 632 processor, it just not being as good as the newer processor from Qualcomm. But yeah, just throwing that out there. So cool. So those are the things that I didn't like. Some things that I do like about the device is the price. I got this on sale, like I said, I think for $229. You really can't beat that for that price. And then when looking at the device, other thing that I like is the build. Yes, it's slippery, but it looks like a really expensive device. I pulled this out and I showed some family members and friends. They did not think that this device costed $200 because of this glass back, the way that it wraps around the sides. It just feels and looks very premium. It has a decent amount of heft to it, weight, but it's like a good heft and a good weight. Other thing that I like is the UI. It's clean. It's very, you know, similar to just regular plain Android 9.0 with some Moto added conveniences such as the chuck to turn on the wireless charging and then shaking to turn on the camera. So, you know, good stuff. Things that I do believe are useful for sure. So kudos to Moto for just adding those niche conveniences. I like them. Also, even though there's only one speaker, it is loud because it uses some Dolby software tech. So if you scroll down here, you can see Dolby movies, and you could turn that on or off. But Dolby, it was weird to me because you really can't turn off the Dolby feature, sort of, because when you tap this, it always says Dolby audio is always on when you're using the phone's loudspeaker. You're always using the phone's loudspeaker, so you can never turn it off. Only thing you can do is hold this down, and you can adjust which type of Dolby audio you want to come out. So it is what it is, but like I said, it's pretty crisp and pretty loud. No issues there. Another thing that I like, of course, is the included headphone jack. Especially, I want to say, I can't say just at this price point, but a lot of people don't have wireless headphones still. Like, yeah, it's going up. More people have truly wireless headphones, but people still use headphones, wired headphones, and so it's nice to have that 3.5mm headphone jack. Fast wired charging is also good. Charges really, really quick. I mean, in half an hour, you can get more than 50% of battery life. So I'm happy with that. Also, I actually am a fan of this do notch. I don't know why, but with this display, I like it. It's a nearly bezel-less display at under $300. I really can't, you know, watching videos on this, YouTube videos, it really looks good, and colors do pop. Not as good as an AMOLED display, but I think it's more so the fact that it's close to being bezel-less, and so because of that, the picture just looks better, if that makes sense. And then also, I'm a fan of the SD card slot as well for the expandable memory. So all in all, based off of those pros and cons, I don't know if I can recommend this device, and the only reason for that is because of one thing that I did not mention at all that I did not like, and that's the camera. The camera on this thing it's pretty bad. Motorola has never really had awesome cameras. With their Z line of devices, they became, I guess you could say, a bit more competitive, but still the results are nowhere as good as anything else on the market. They're always coming in last. So at $229, or right now the price is probably back at the original price, I think of $299, and you have the Google Pixel 3a at $399. It's tough for me to recommend this with all of the things that I stated because of the camera. Yeah, I mean, the design is nice, and you know, like I said, everything else is, you know, pretty good about this device, but I think that people use their phones a lot more for taking pictures because of things like social media, and just because, you know, the phone that's on you or the camera that's on you is how you're going to be taking most of your pictures, so for parties, birthdays, etc., etc. So it's tough for me to recommend this. If you're someone who doesn't take a lot of pictures, for sure, I would definitely recommend this. If you're just going to be using this for like making phone calls, receiving text messages, some of the basic smartphone features, gaming on this, it's a little spotty. No huge drops in FPS, but still not the best, you know. And I mean, of course, with this, I want to say downgraded chipset, we can expect it not to be the best, right? So gaming is hit or miss depending on what you're doing. Like if you're talking about Need for Speed, PUBG, Asphalt, then maybe it's passable, but not the best processor. So yeah, so again, it's tough because of the Google Pixel being in this particular conversation at that price range. So if you're someone that takes a lot of pictures, I want to say maybe, I don't want to, like maybe a cut above, you do a little bit more intense gaming. You take a lot of pictures, you want fast updates, get the Google Pixel 3a XL or even the Google Pixel 3a. The design is not going to be as nice. It is plastic, but you know, it still does have that AMOLED screen. It's still a decent looking device in my opinion. So yeah, so that's pretty much where I stand. If you're someone, you know, if your phone's on the last leg, you only have $200, $300 to buy a phone, that's the max of your budget, then you can't really go wrong with this. I mean, at the price point for what this offers, you're still getting one hell of a device. But if you could stretch your phone and you can save up an additional $100, I would recommend the Google Pixel 3a. So this is Max Tech Toy Box. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys have this device. You know, what are your thoughts on it? You guys have any questions about the device? Please let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.